Hey gang, just a couple of thoughts while I'm getting my morning together and about to settle down to get a little bit of writing done. But um, prior to that, a couple of thoughts rattling around in my head. And, nothing terribly original, honestly, but it occurred to me that nothing that I'd really gone out of my way to record before, so figured I might as well. Um, the shape of it is generally this. Um, whatever the nature of consciousness may be, and there's ample ground for debate, dispute, and further investigation. Um, we can say that we exist in a universe in which the phenomenon of consciousness exists. We can further the phenomenon that we call consciousness exists. We can further say that the presence of this has, at least within a limited domain, um, some influence on cause-effect relationships. Um, obviously, we can say that this is so um, regarding the most immediate and obvious ranges of human reach. Um, uh, uh, Basically, our stellar vicinity. Um, we have we do what we do here. We do what we do in the space between our atmosphere and the moon. We also do what we do to a limited degree with our neighboring planets as well, and occasionally send things out deeper. But the cause-effect relationships here have some material consequentiality regarding gravitational effects, light effects, radiometric effects, so on and so on and so forth. So we can say that the consequences of our volition stretch, perhaps in an infinitesimal way, but stretch far beyond where we would generally characterize. All this to say that consciousness is a part of the causal agency in the universe that we occupy. Um, we then move very with the slipping of gears that occurs when I'm a little undercaffeinated. Um, we then move to the question of God. Um, consequences influenced by intentionality in the universe that we occupy. Um, Maybe not universally so, but demonstrably so. Um, this, to many, would kind of reintroduce or recharacterize the God question, perhaps in a pantheistic sense, um, or perhaps in a kind of a teleological sense, the notion that this consciousness that we experience is an inherited property. But um, to my thinking, it's a non sequitur, or rather, it is a very, very important question, perhaps one of the most important that can be framed. The answer to which is very important, but the resolution of the disputes between differing answers is perhaps not. And here's why. If you believe that human beings, human intelligence, um, and the general structure of the universe are the result of intent. There is a God. Um, then likely, then likely, you hold to the notion of some form of sacred insight, whether inferred or communicated, and whether the creator of all that is set out to convey to us certain information, or whether structured things in such a way that kind of arranged the stage in such a way that we would infer a specific information that it was desired that we would infer. Either way, communication and intentional communication has occurred. Those intentional communications are, at least in terms, at least in insofar as what we have in most cultural narratives regarding the divine, both those including a sacred text, those not having a sacred text, what have you, are principally concerned with desirable ranges of human behavior, both phenomenal and intentional. You know, both what you do and why you do it. Are kind of the dominant themes. The dominant themes in instruction from the creator to the creation. This to me indicates either a divine preoccupation with the human condition, or a desire that we be preoccupied with the human condition. To wit, if there is a God, they're a humanist. And of course, on the other side, if you don't believe that there is a God, then you believe that humanism is kind of all we've got. So it's a much shorter, it's a much shorter series of connect the dots to get to that point. But either way, the focus in either narrative, the focus is rather squarely put on us. And particularly how we treat each other. I just find that interesting.